All right. Tough loss. You got to credit Ole Miss, going into it, that they're a handful. They're tough to stop, very explosive. We got off to a great start, gave ourselves an opportunity, and did many good things. But certainly we all will look at a lot of the negatives and a lot of things that we need to get fixed and get cleaned up. And, quite frankly, some of them are inexcusable. So, that's on us. I love the fight of this team, and I love how hard they play. We need to be competitive in every snap, and there's areas where I still need us to improve in that area, and there's other areas where guys were super scrappy and very competitive and made a lot of good plays. So it's early in the year. And we have a lot of football ahead of us. That's a good thing, and I like this team. I like the way they fight and scrap, and we'll improve.
Mark, could you talk about the organizational issues that you guys had in the first half, where you had to burn your timeouts and kind of left you with none at the end?
Yeah, it's really inexcusable, to be totally honest with you. There's things where we are trying to get the best personnel we can with certain plays and certain things, and we've got to be better. We've just got to function better. There were issues that we had in our communication on the sideline and with the quarterback here and there with his communication device, but there's no excuse for it. Not all of it. You know what I mean? So that's on us, and put it all together, and it was messy, but there's operationally we've been very smooth. I think we're trying to do too much with matching personnel and changing some people out. We talked about that at halftime. Clean that up. That really pissed me off, and we had a discussion with the offensive staff and got that rectified.
How much did that, because at the end of the first half you didn't have timeouts, you get backed up by another one, and then you can't kick that field goal. If you had kicked the field goal there, you wouldn't have been going for those fourth downs.
I agree. In hindsight, a lot of the field goals, I'd have loved to have gotten 3, there, and that was a messy series. And then late, even the 3, I could second guess myself now. I think you all would second guess me if I kicked it, but you know what I mean? Neither here nor there. I think analytics would tell me to go for it. I was studying it carefully on the sidelines, wanted to be aggressive. In hindsight, I think the first one, now that we didn't get it, I'd have liked to have kicked it. But again, we had them backed up. We got a quick stop, got the ball right back, and drove back down. So we gave ourselves chances. But yeah, I think the 3 at the end of the half would have been nice as well.
What's Zach's status?
What's that,
What's
Zach?
Zach's status?
Yeah, he was hurt. I don't know the extent. We were in the heat of the moment there, and I'm not sure.
Regardless of Zach's status, do you have to consider the quarterback situation?
Yeah, certainly. Let's just look at it the way it is. He's banged up. I don't know to what extent. I would think he would more than likely miss Monday or Tuesday, I would think. But I want to see Cutter. Yeah, I want to see him. Yes.
Mark, after Ty Bryant's 2 interceptions, you guys are leading 10-0. Have them on 4th and 1, and they pull a surprise and go through the deep ball. Can you just talk about that play?
Well, it's disappointing because we worked that play. We worked that exact play, and so it's us. Trying to do too much, and you hear me talking about other coaches, it's just bad eyes, and trying to do things that you're not responsible for, and it made us pay.
Mark, would you like to see the passing game go downfield more? There were a lot of screens and short passes in the game plan today anyway. Is that something that you want to explore more?
Yeah, we always do. Again, in the last game, we didn't complete very many, but we had 5 shots down the field, and today we had our shots as well. And I want to say the first play of the second half, we had an opportunity. He took the tight end and got maybe 7 yards, but I thought we had to post for a big gainer. It was played, it was called there. It's called throughout the game. You just don't always see it.
What did you think about how your defense kept up with Ole Miss's tempo?
Yeah, I thought we handled that part of it very well, operationally very well. Obviously got off to a good start. We were disruptive and changing looks. You know, we were too soft in coverages, giving them some easy access throws. There's, you know, areas where we need to tighten up there. Not having DJ Waller, who got injured Wednesday in practice, obviously affected us as well.
Seth and Kendrick really seem to provide some sparks on offense. How can we see them kind of implemented more, touching the ball more going forward?
Yeah, we had some plays and some touches, some screens that you mentioned, some other things from Kendrick, trying to get him some touches and going. And Seth, you know, we saw some, you know, really explosiveness out of him today and big play capability. And we'll continue to work both of those guys. And I think it's a nice combination with Dante as well, you know, and the run game was effective. Again, going into it, you know them and Pete, you know, on Golding on the defensive side, and the personnel that they have. That's a tough defense as well, and I thought they really played well. You know, made it difficult for us. And we had some success in running the ball, but too many 3 and outs again and missed opportunities.
You're always striving for balance, but do you want the ball in their hands more, particularly after that third quarter drive where Seth really got going?
You know, Bush and I talked about it on the headset. You know, it's a double-edged sword. Like, I just sat there and, you know, I think everybody thinks that I control the offense or call plays, which I 0%. But, you know, after it, you know, he and I talked about it, and I'm like, man, it pisses us both off because we're like, in hindsight, would you just pound it? You know what I mean? When we got the turnover, I think the second one, he got it to the 14, and we both second guessed it afterwards. I mean, I don't say anything because I don't want to hinder us from improving and being aggressive.
Mark, on the cutter drive, he had it 3rd and 9 at 29, ran like a fake pitch, and he kept. What was the thought process on that?
I can't remember the play. I mean, I'm sure we were just trying to hit a power play. You know what I mean? A fake, you know, play on 3rd and long. Sometimes you could hit them with a power in a quarterback run, and you know, try to pop them. You know, I think.
Mark, it seemed like the defense played well on a lot of plays, but the chunk plays really hurt you.
For sure. You know, and you know that going in and playing them, that they thrive off of, you know, explosives. And you know, I really think we did a really good job for the majority of plays. And then you take however many explosives they have, and it's the difference in the game. But, you know, that's kind of who they are. I think the play that we mentioned on 4th and 1 really ticks us off because we worked it, and you could have a man on a man there. We covered the flat perfect. You know, there's no excuse. We got to cover the 2 deep balls, and we were just off. You know, and you know, that's a huge play right there, and very much, you know, playable for us. Not to say that a 50-50 ball wouldn't go their way, but we should have a man on it.
How do you assess just your tackling, particularly in the secondary?
You know, I can't, you know, there's a lot going on in my head right now. I don't feel like it's, you know, I mean, I guess if you're talking the corners on the perimeter, it hasn't been good. To me, they've been too soft. You know what I mean? It's a double-edged sword. They get up tight. They did get behind us a couple times. So, you know, I think the corner position has stood out to me that being below average at times here this year, both in the first game and this second game. You know, our safeties and all that have generally been good. We did lose leverage late in the 4-minute drill with some of our guys, and you know, that's inexcusable as well. You know, there's some things we could easily get fixed, but we lost some leverage late in the game.
There were, you know, a couple times where it felt like the game was getting away from you, but you all fought back, and you know, you got a tie ball game, you're at the 30-yard line, a chance to do something in the 4th quarter. Is there some big picture positives to take away from that?
Absolutely, I definitely think so. I mean, just, you know, we have a lot of moving pieces, a lot of new guys and new people, and I like, you know, this team, and you know, it's a tough loss. I mean, this is a team that everybody predicts to be a playoff team, and I have a ton of respect for Lane and his staff and his team, and they're very good. But you know, we had many opportunities and did a lot of good things, and you know, whatever, you could get on me for that or whatever, but we have a long season. So yeah, I want to continue to build this team up and make sure they keep their heads high and just work to get better. There's things that we could all improve on.
Mark, it seems like you guys have some pieces on the offensive side of the ball. What do you think's been missing from that unit in the first 2 to be more consistent?
I think, you know, obviously, you know, it's easy to point out to the past game. You know, I thought there was you knew that the pass rush was going to improve today and harass Zach and whoever was in their quarterback. And, they did that, but we still had some time. I felt like the timing of some of that, there were some throws that were there. I feel like our vision has to be better at quarterback and get the ball out of his hands, because there were some things that were there. Not easy, not like they weren't going to be contested, but, there were some plays where we got to get rid of the ball.
Is that a play calling thing, or is that a player thing?
No, because the plays were there, and again, not easy or not wide open or things of that nature, but when you drop back and pass and you got to throw the ball, and some of it was there. And listen, it's not easy. Those are big guys coming at him, and you don't know what the vision's like and what his windows are like. But as we're looking at, 'cause I was interested in that, and Bush was, and we were looking at that, and I was looking at that after in between series, and there were some opportunities there that we got to be more efficient.
Mark, were you a little surprised you guys weren't able to get a little more pressure on the quarterback, considering how well you guys played in that area last week, and it was also an area that Kiffin constantly said had been an issue for his team?
It is, but the way they go, a lot of their play passes, a lot of their things, and they had the fourth down that we already talked about, but most of their explosives, I would imagine, are on first and second down. Just playing them, that's where they're going to be. Third down, we were 3 for 13 success rate, you know what I mean? So that's pretty good against that team. So I would imagine those explosives were on first, second down, and that's tough. You got to get your feet in the ground. And again, they kind of live off of that, that going into it. We try our best. Being down, DJ didn't help us. Coach White, tries protecting in a way, rolling, and that gave up one of the shots on second down with the tight end through the middle. Trying to roll and protect the corner and give up the tight end seam. It's a weakness in the coverage that we went to. So it's a cat and mouse game, and it's tough. They put you in some binds. Again, I thought our defense did some really good things, and they're going to score a lot more than 30 in most of their games.
Mark, do you think DJ's injury is long term, or?
I'm not sure. I hope I hope he'll be back. If not this week, certainly after the bye.
Very good. All right, thank you.
Okay, thanks.